This is how we do it. This is how we do it.
What's up, everyone? This is Devin with Gaming in Progress, and the time has come. The Call of Duty Black Ops 3 beta has officially ended for both the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, with the PlayStation 4 beta ending last week and the Xbox One beta ending like 3 hours ago at the time of me making this. So obviously I played both betas as much as I possibly could and got a feel for them. And now we're going to talk about both betas and kind of wrap things up here. As you guys know, we did, or I did, first impression videos of the beta on both PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, as well as talking about the Black Ops Paint Shop, which obviously I didn't do an Xbox counterpart, though I did mess with the Paint Shop on Xbox One. It was just the same paint shop, so I didn't feel it needed a second video. So as you can see here, obviously we've got some PlayStation 4 gameplay for the first half, which we're going to talk about the PlayStation 4 beta. And for the second half, we're going to talk about the Xbox One beta. And we're going to have some Xbox One gameplay for that as well. And then we're going to wrap things up and do like a little bit of a comparison between the two betas and how they performed and stuff like that. So for this first chunk of the gameplay, we're going to be using the M8A7 or the Mate 7, depending on how you want to pronounce it or say it or whatever. But yeah, so we're going to get right into this here and talk about the beta on PlayStation 4 first. This is now the 4th time I'm recording this video, by the way. So anyway, first things first, the beta on the PlayStation 4 started off pretty smooth. Everybody got the codes relatively easy, redeemed the codes, got their tokens or whatever, which gave you 1 code to use for yourself and 2 for your friends, and so they got that. And then you downloaded the game, installed the game or the application, or beta, or whatever you want to call it, and you booted it up and started playing it. If you were playing it the first day, one of the things you might notice went a little wrong, which is the first thing that we have to talk about that was negative about the beta, was the paint shop wasn't working the first day. I tried it myself, and the entire first day I was playing, the paint shop just wouldn't function. You could go into it and try and tinker with it, but you couldn't get anything to actually show up on your gun, to the point where I thought that the paint shop just wasn't going to be accessible in the beta. Luckily, as you can see here, it was just not up the first day. The paint shop was actually a lot of fun to mess with, and I know I spent way too much time customizing all my paint jobs for guns that aren't going to be available till November, and in a paint shop that'll probably be completely reset, so I'll have to completely recreate all those paint jobs once I get the full game, which is unfortunate to be sure, but I mean, at least I know what to do with what. So I was kind of disappointed the gunsmith wasn't accessible as well. Would have been really nice to see the different variations of all the attachments that you could put on your gun. Unfortunately, it just didn't come to pass. So the second part of the beta that was a little bit of a hiccup was actually getting into games. Now, I didn't really have... Actually, I had this issue the most the day of launch. You would go into a game, and you would have either left a lobby or you started the application fresh from start. And you would go into a lobby, and you would be in a lobby by yourself. Nobody else would actually join that lobby, and you could go out of that lobby and try and go into different game modes, and you'd still be stuck in a lobby by yourself. And the only way to fix that really seemed to be restarting the application and trying again. Now, I really only had that issue the first day of the beta. The rest of the beta, I had that like every so often, but it wasn't as major of an issue. Hopefully it's something that they fix during the, or before the full game comes out. I'm not really sure if it was a NAT issue or just a network connectivity server issue thing. I'm not really sure what it was, to be honest with you. All I know was it was kind of annoying. So, but the last thing really that we have to talk about that was annoying to say the least on the PlayStation 4 beta was when I was playing the beta, I would play pretty long play sessions. So I played for as long as possible. But one of the issues I ran into was after so long, the beta would just kind of crash. You'd be playing and you'd be in the middle of a game and then it would freeze and you'd be like, oh, well, what the fuck? And then it would go back to the dashboard and say the application had to be closed because blah blah blah, and report to PlayStation and all the usual stuff that happens when an application freezes. It was actually a pretty annoying issue that I wish I could say was limited to the PlayStation 4 beta, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Actually, maybe more than a minute. Point is, that pretty much covers all the negative aspects of the PlayStation 4 beta as far as bugs and stuff goes. Gameplay-wise, it was actually kind of a lot of fun. I gotta say I like the Black Ops style exosuits over the Advanced Warfare style, simply because the Advanced Warfare exos, I mean, it already felt like you were kind of playing Titanfall without the ability to run on walls. Now you have the ability to run on walls. You have the built-in boost instead of having to equip a boost for jumping. I just feel like it works better, and the map design is actually more suited to using exos and stuff. So I mean, they actually did kind of change up the game a bit. You don't have the I mean, you still have some of the traditional lanes and stuff, but the way you can get around is a bit different, especially with the underwater combat as well, which should be something to be overlooked, because the underwater combat is actually kind of good for surprise attacks, as I've come to find out, especially on this map that we're playing right now. So it was definitely very interesting, and I gotta say that I enjoyed the underwater combat as well as the EXO as well. Granted, the gameplay doesn't really change too much from one system to another, but I really enjoyed the time that I got to play on the beta on the PlayStation 4, and it seemed like a lot of other people were enjoying it as well. I would switch over to, or I would look at my friends list and see a bunch of people playing the Black Ops beta, especially the last couple days of both betas. They opened it up to like all players, so everybody could get a little bit of taste of the beta, even if you didn't pre-order it, which I kind of thought was kind of nice. And the fact that they did it on both systems was even more nice. But it seemed like a lot of people were playing the beta on PlayStation and were enjoying it. So it definitely seems like the transition of Call of Duty switching over to more of a PlayStation audience is going pretty smoothly. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know. It's a game. But I mean, that pretty much sums up my thoughts for just the PlayStation side of the beta. So we're gonna switch over to the Xbox One side of the beta. We got some gameplay clips over there, and we're gonna talk about my thoughts on how that beta went, and then we're gonna combine those two betas basically and talk about what went right on each of them and what went wrong on each of them. So this is probably going to be a little bit longer of a video. So we're going to switch over to the Xbox One now. So now we're on the Xbox side of things, and the good news and bad news here is, unfortunately, the way I was recording clips, I wasn't recording it right because I'm not used to how you record gameplay on Xbox. It's a bit different than recording gameplay on PlayStation. So I have some short clips first, and then we're going to have to go back a little bit to older footage that I recorded using the game DVR, which is what I should have been doing the whole time, I guess, but it was my mistake. So obviously we're going to talk about the Xbox One side of the beta now. The Xbox One beta's launch was not nearly as well off as the PlayStation 4's launch of the beta. People had issues getting their codes. A lot of people got their codes later than they should have. And then when you went to redeem the code, you actually had to change your region. As I said before in the first impressions video I did, you ended up having to change your region to Brazil or whatever just to redeem the code. I had that issue. Jakester had that issue as well. Speaking of which, for those of you who don't know, Jakester's a YouTuber. We did some stuff back at Indie PopCon, and we were actually playing the beta together for quite a bit, and it was a lot of fun to play with him on the beta. And so I'll have a link to his channel in the description. You should definitely go check him out if you don't know who Jakester is already. Now, getting back into the beta, there were some issues that the Xbox One beta had besides, obviously, the whole launch fiasco. Much to my disappointment, one of the issues that the Xbox One beta shared with the PlayStation 4 beta was the whole sometimes your paint jobs on your guns would disappear. As you can see here, the paint job that I had was gone in that previous clip, and this is a paint job that I've been rocking, which is a Gears of War style version of our logo here on this awesome gun. So obviously that was an issue as well. Another issue the Xbox One beta had was the fact that the Xbox One beta, much like the PlayStation 4 beta, would crash. It crashed about the same amount of times, like 4 or 5 times while I was playing it. It didn't actually like go to the back to the dashboard, but it would just like completely freeze up to the point where I wasn't able to do anything, which was pretty frustrating, again, especially if you're in the middle of a game and you just get stuck there and there's nothing you can do but restart the game. It was pretty frustrating. So another issue I noticed with the Xbox One beta was the fact that, well, actually no, this was an issue that both seemed to have. Again, the whole lobby thing that I stated previously in the PlayStation 4 portion of this video. Only on Xbox One, it only seemed to happen once or twice. So that was definitely something that was improved upon on the Xbox One version of the beta. A really weird occurrence that happened in both betas was sometimes you would be in a game that was obviously completely full of players, and yet when the game would be over, the scoreboard would only show like one person on one team and one person on the other team, as if none of the other people really existed. I'm not really sure what caused that. It was just like a really weird occurrence that happened on both betas. It was like just a really weird bug, I guess, and I'm hoping that's something else that'll get fixed once the full game comes out. After the first couple days, the Xbox One beta seemed to smooth out. Everybody finally got the codes. Everybody was able to play. Unfortunately, they didn't extend the beta for people who had to wait to play, but oh well, I guess. The beta was as fun on Xbox One as it was on PlayStation 4 when you could play either beta, again because of the previously stated issues. I would definitely have to say that the PlayStation 4 beta had a better start. The Xbox One beta did do some things better than the PlayStation 4 beta, obviously with the whole, not server, but with the whole lobby issue. The Xbox One beta got rid of that issue a lot faster than the PlayStation 4 beta, which was very good. Other than that, there isn't a whole lot to talk about these betas anymore. Both betas were a lot of fun. I wouldn't really say one performed a lot better than the other. Both were very visually well done, as you could tell. I didn't really notice a whole lot of difference in like frame rate or picture quality or anything like that. Both seem to be going at the same picture quality, and both seem to have the same frame rate. But I'm sure people out there will disagree with me. Other than that, I would say that while the PlayStation beta had the lead in the beginning, the Xbox One beta finished better overall than the PlayStation 4 beta. It seemed like the Xbox One beta went a little bit longer than the PlayStation 4 beta, like not like an entire extra day, but it ran a little bit longer. As you can see, both both betas had the issue with the whole paint shop thing, where your paint jobs sometimes disappear. So other than that, I don't think there's really a better system to get this game on. Call of Duty Black Ops 3 looks like it's going to be a really good game on both systems. So if you have an Xbox One or a PlayStation 4, it's at least worth checking out if you're looking for something that's kind of got Call of Duty but kind of different, because it's, to me at least, it doesn't feel like the same Call of Duty as before, and I view that as a good thing. Now this last clip is actually not Call of Duty at all, because I don't want to use any more old gameplay clips of Call of Duty, so this is just some Dead Rising 3 here, just to kind of wrap things up, and it'll probably, it might also actually be a filler clip, you might not even see this. But my final thoughts on the beta are, the beta went well overall. I'm hoping that Treyarch got a lot of like feedback, and everything that went wrong in the beta will be fixed by the time of the full game's release. For both systems, not taking more priority over one or the other. I think both systems deserve this game in its full capacity. However, there are a couple things that I feel they should maybe change that aren't really related to the beta itself, but just the specialist abilities need to be changed. So we're going to talk a little bit about that in a minute. So I had to reach out and use the last clip that I have here for Black Ops 3. That's one of the older clips, unfortunately, because again of the upload stadia. So not just the upload stadia, the way you record on Xbox, it's a little more complicated on PlayStation and a little bit different than I'm used to. So, but anyway, I feel like near the end of both betas, and I think everybody who's watching this can agree, the Reaper and the Nomad were used a lot. And I'm sure I'm probably repeating myself here, but I feel like the Reaper and Nomad should be maybe changed a little bit. The Reaper's specialist ability, the minigun one, basically turns the Reaper, basically gives the Reaper a score streak that is continuously recharging, and that you don't actually have to get kills to get. It gives the Reaper a huge advantage. And when he has that minigun, which is what I'm going to call it, because I don't know what it was actually called, but when he has that minigun or Gatling gun or whatever, it basically makes him an army of one and can wreck everybody else on the field, unless you get the drop on him from behind or you drop some missiles on him. The Nomad specialist ability is basically the final stand brought back in a more futuristic sense, with the ability to obviously be continuously recharging like all the other specialist abilities. So I think the way they might be able to balance these out a little bit more is maybe slow down, because these are higher end specialists. For those special abilities they have, maybe extend the recharge rate on them a little bit further than with the other specialist abilities that maybe aren't as overpowered. That's just one option, I guess. I've never been really good with figuring out how to balance things. I just know when things don't really feel balanced to me. But other than that, and the M8A7 is the other thing I want to talk about when it comes to unbalancedness. The M8A7 is obviously a little bit overpowered. Maybe just drop the magazine capacity like 5 rounds, and that might balance it out. But again, I'm not really sure how to properly balance stuff. So, other than that, I'm really interested in hearing your guys' thoughts on the Call of Duty Black Ops 3 beta, whether you were playing it on PlayStation 4 or Xbox One or PC or all of the above. What do you guys think? Which system or platform do you guys think handled the beta the best? Which do you think handled it the worst? What were things that you liked? What were things that you didn't like? I want to hear all you guys' opinions on this beta, because I've been playing it as much as possible for 2 weeks straight, and I know everybody else who had the ability to play it as much as possible has been. So I really want to hear everybody else's opinion on this beta. Does it make you want to get the full game? Does it make you not want to get the full game? Leave some really lengthy and descriptive comments down below. We pretty much read all the comments here. There are times when I'm like just not doing anything, or times when I just take time out of the day to make sure all the comments are read. I may not necessarily, or we may not necessarily reply to every single comment, but we read pretty much every single comment there is because, well, sometimes we don't get a lot of comments, so when we do get comments, we're like really happy to read them. So other than that, that pretty much does it for this Call of Duty Black Ops beta video. I know it was a bit longer than maybe you were expecting, but I mean, it's talking about both betas, and if I had played the PC beta, of course I would have talked about that one as well. I'm hoping the PC beta went well for everybody who played it. I'm hoping there weren't too many issues. But other than that, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed the Call of Duty Black Ops 3 beta. If you guys did enjoy this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you guys happen to be new here, coming from somewhere new, feel free to hit that subscribe button. And once again, don't forget to leave any comments you have down in the comment section below. As always, this has been Devin with Gaming in Progress, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.
It details the incomplete process
Like a
of
marine or
synthesizing a cure for the virus. If implemented in its current
like a
state,
military
the
style
produced
artifact.
substance may be extremely toxic. Also, the file contains full description of the virion structure. Any attempt to use it would result in countless lives lost. It must be recovered. Further information, current status. Suleiman sent the file to an associate unknown to us, with instructions to publicize it at his command at any time. To counter that, we instituted a citywide communication jam, preventing him from publicizing the file. Your GRE-issued radio can overcome that jamming. It's your lifeline. Do not lose it. Suleiman has since gone underground and begun using a different name. We have reason to believe he now leads one of the two main factions operating within the city. You are to find Suleiman and locate the stolen file in order to save mankind from a disaster of unprecedented proportions.
Okay, so find the guy, get the file, and avoid all the time.